Hi, we are Geeks on Tour. I'm Jim.
And I'm Chris.
And we are the Geeks Who Teach. This is episode 64. Isn't that cool? It is an educational show about smartphones and tablets with Geeks on Tour. And that's us. Hey. Hi, I'm Jim. Together here with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we're geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we came up with this show. And for those of you just joining and wondering, what are these silly hats? Propeller head is another term for geek or nerd. So that's why we wear them. Try to take ourselves not too seriously.
That's a great idea. And so, Chris, where are we now?
We're in our home studio in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We'll be here a lot this winter.
Okay. All right. So on today's show, we have a tip of the day, transferring your pictures by bumping your phones.
Or getting them nearby, anyway.
Okay. Beginner's lesson will be hotspotting your phone. That's a question we get all the time. How do I do that? And app of the week will be our SanDisk Connect. That's a neat little device that has come in handy, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. If you have questions, please ask them here in the comments. And the show is recorded on YouTube, and it's available on our Geeks on Tour channel. You can always find the links at geeksontour.com/weekly show.
Okay. And who are Geeks on Tour? In case you don't know us, please go to our website at geeksontour.com. Right on the first page, scroll down a little bit, you'll see this little video of our faces. Click there and you'll see an overview video about our history. So our quick tip today is transferring photos by bumping phones. Or in the case of the iPhone, you don't actually have to bump, you have to get them close together.
Okay. Which one do you want to do first?
Well, I was going to do the iPhone, but does it need to be reset there?
Oh, I don't know. We'll take a look at it here.
The way this came up is when we were in Cuba a couple weeks ago, we had no internet connection whatsoever. And we took a picture of one of the other guys in our group, and he looked at the picture and he says, "Oh, that's a great picture. Can I get a copy?" And you know you're never going to remember that when you get back. And we didn't have internet to do it, so we showed him how to just bump the devices together and transfer the photo.
And that was using near-field communications for the Android.
Right.
Okay.
On the Android, it's something called Android Beam. And it uses NFC, near-field communication. So your device has to have that capability. On the Apple, it uses AirDrop. And AirDrop, as I understand it, uses either Wi-Fi between the two devices or Bluetooth, not NFC.
Right. Now, I have an iPhone here, and we have an iPad tablet, and we will...
So first, yeah, take my... That's ready?
I think it's ready.
Okay. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't.
Hey,
so
just like everything else with technology, sometimes it just works better than other times. And I did some research on it because when I tried it one time this morning, it did not work. And when you Google that, and that's how we find out the answers to every problem we have, it said one of the ones that I liked is like the worst since Apple Maps, the worst app since Apple Maps, because it's just not
But
finished.
when it works, it's so
cool. It is.
So we're going to give it a shot. So take my picture.
All right. First of all, I have to find a camera. All right. There we go. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Where'd you go? Something happened.
Doesn't that happen all the time when you're about to take a picture and you tap on something and the screen goes blank?
Oh, it might work though.
Your people are there just smiling away, waiting. Well, didn't you say
There, I took a
you were
picture.
going to take a picture?
All right, so I've taken the picture.
Okay, now I think I can show all that in
Okay,
here.
so the photo's there.
Now that he's taken the picture, I'll show you what the steps are.
And let me change over to that camera.
All right. So what you do is find AirDrop and turn it on. And if you open the picture and you want to share it, I think I have to turn AirDrop on first, or I get confused because on the other one you don't. Yeah, AirDrop, share instantly with people nearby if they turn on AirDrop from Control Center on iOS. So there's the thing. I want to transfer from his phone to my iPad. So it says I have to turn on AirDrop on my iPad. To do that, you swipe up from the bottom to reveal the Control Center. It better not be in airplane mode because then nothing will work. And I turn on AirDrop.
Now, we'll turn on the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi if it is turned off.
Right.
At least it does on my iPhone.
So on AirDrop, I have three choices. I can either have it off, or I can say, make AirDrop available to those nearby who are only my contacts, or to everyone. I'm going to say everyone.
Seems to work better. Did you notice that it turned on the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth there. Okay. Now we go back to the phone that has the picture on it.
Yeah.
Oh. And my face should be showing up here as a device that's nearby.
Just go back one picture because I have a screenshot of that to
Yeah.
show you that it does work.
Okay. So
yeah.
you're saying let me just go to photos.
Yeah.
And this photo shows a screenshot. When the one time that we got this to work, we saw my little face below that spot where it says tap to share. When you tap it, it then starts sending the picture over.
Yeah, one thing that I did to make it work was to close all the running apps on the iPhone and the iPad and then restart both devices. And then when I went back in, it worked. For a few minutes.
And I thought we tried to reset right before we're doing this. So, yeah. But then what happens is you tap the share button. That's that little square with the up arrow, and AirDrop is one of the choices. But as I say, you have to have a person's face down there showing up, and we don't. So that's that demonstration. Now let's see if the Android one works any better.
Yeah, right.
So I am going to take a picture with my Android phone of Jim. Oops, that's on selfie. I say, well, that's not Jim, that's me. It's on selfie mode. Okay, yeah, right. All right, so there's a picture of Jim. And let me show you what happens here. It's the same process in that you share the picture.
All right.
So I need to go to my photos. And see that picture I just took of Jim. And I tap the share button, which on Android is this slingshot looking thing. And on the Android, it's called Android Beam. Look at all these different ways to share. Jeez. Android Beam. Anybody see it? Where'd it go? Oh, we're batting 1,000 here. All right. There it is. It just moved up to the top because I tried it earlier. Android Beam. And it says NFC, Near Field Communications. That's another radio. Will be turned on. Okay, thank you very much. And then it says touch another phone with this phone to share the content. So this, we do have to physically, and your NFC has to be on, right? So that's what you're doing?
NFC, right, needs to be on. So it was off. I have to turn it on. Android Beam says it's ready to transmit via NFC. All right. So
and we'll just have to show you this on the camera. Now, your cover can be a problem, but that, hey, it touch to beam. So now I have a message on my screen that says touch to beam. I touch there, and it's beaming the content. I see a little arrow working. And do you see an arrow on that one?
Yep, I see the arrow. It's right at the top there, coming down. Everybody should be able to see that.
Yep. And when it's done, the picture that was physically on this phone will be physically on that phone.
Yeah, it says incoming beam. See it down there about halfway?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. Incoming beam. So it's just being transferred. No internet involved. That's just through the air between the two devices.
A very personal size network.
Right. Yeah, just a network of two devices.
Yeah.
So that's
and as
how
soon
it
as
does,
that'll be a minute. Well, you know, pictures are pretty high.
pretty big files.
Pretty big files, so it will take a little bit of time. Okay, now it says touch to view.
Put it back
I'll
over
touch
here.
that picture with the media viewer.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's
you don't
good
need
enough.
it. Wow, what a good looking guy, huh?
Okay, so that's how you can, and it doesn't have to be pictures is the most obvious.
But anything that you can share that comes up,
like contacts.
Contacts are a great example, right? If you need to share a contact or information. But most of the people we talk to want to do pictures, don't they?
Now, if you do have an internet connection, you don't need that. You know, just use Google Photos and share it with a person, and they'll have it in their Google Photos.
And we have something else later on that we're going to be talking about, another way to share without. Okay.
But we just thought that was cool. You see all these commercials on TV for that people are bumping their phones. That's what they're doing.
So we make tutorial videos on all of these things, and most of those go up on the YouTube channel. All of these shows are on our YouTube channel, so we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our beginner's lesson, you ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
I was just wondering if there were any questions, that's all.
Okay, I'm just looking. No questions on that so far.
Okay.
Maybe I should look over here and see.
So I'm ready to ready to show you how to turn your smartphone into a hotspot. It's actually extremely easy. So the hardest part is just understanding what you're doing. You know, if you understand what you're doing and you have the pieces in place, it's just a click of a button. So let's explain it a little bit. What you need is, number one, you need a smartphone. An Android or an iPhone, which is what we show. It works with Windows phones as well. The menu is just in a different place. You need an active cellular internet connection. So you need a Verizon, an AT&T, a T-Mobile, something like that being used on your phone. And your contract with your Verizon, your AT&T, must allow it's called tethering, or it's also called mobile hotspot. But your contract must allow that. A lot of them don't.
Yeah, ours does not, so we have a way around it.
Yeah, and we will show you that. Last week, if you were watching last week, we talked about Wi-Fi a lot, but that was different. That was what I call Wi-Fi in, because we were talking about how to get your phone an internet connection. You have to have a source. That source can either be cellular or be Wi-Fi. So this week, we're talking about Wi-Fi out. You must have a cellular connection coming in. You have to have a source of the internet. So the source of the internet is coming from a cellular connection from your Verizon or AT&T or whatever. Then you can share that internet connection by sending Wi-Fi out. And then either your computer or your tablet or even an old phone that no longer has a cellular connection can get it. So when when might most people use this? When do they need to make their phone into a hotspot?
Well, if they have a Wi-Fi only device, they would want to connect to the internet as that. Sometimes there's no Wi-Fi available. And sometimes, you know, you just need to get something connected. If you have a cellular plan with a device that can be made into a hotspot, you should be good to go.
In the car is a really good example with the, you know, the grandkids are in the back seat wanting to play an internet game with their tablet, and you want to let them do that because they're a lot quieter than.
Are we there yet? I'm thirsty.
Turn your phone into a Wi-Fi hotspot, and then they can get online with their tablets. Or if you want to use a tablet for navigation.
Right. We have a tablet. It's a Nexus 7 tablet, and we got that. It does have a GPS receiver in it, and we got it specifically as a 7-inch screen, real nice size, but it did not have a cellular data. Now, if we wanted to use it with Google Maps or something like that that required an internet connection, we needed to have it connected. So we would turn one of our phones into a Wi-Fi hotspot, connect our Nexus 7 tablet, and it would get all of its, get all of its information.
That also works for dashboard GPSs. We have a Rand McNally that will display weather maps on top of our navigation map if it has an internet connection. So turning your phone into a hotspot gives it that internet connection. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate. I'm going to demonstrate turning a hotspot on, show you how you can add a password to it, and then show you how you connect to it. I'm going to do that both on Apple and on Android. So first, the Apple iPhone. And that's because you have to be using a device that has an internet connection. So this one has a T-Mobile internet connection with 2 bars right now. And Wi-Fi is already on?
Wi-Fi is already on.
Okay, so I need to turn off that because that's Wi-Fi in.
Right.
We can't have Wi-Fi in and out at the same time.
And it'll tell you that when you try.
Makes sense. So I'm just going to open up the control center and turn Wi-Fi off there, and Bluetooth as well. Settings, cellular, and personal hotspot. And you turn it on. That's all there is to it. They do have a choice. It says, personal hotspot will only be available over USB. Now, what does that mean? That means a USB cable. Right now, I would need to plug in a cable between the phone and the computer, but that's not what I want.
That is the standard cable, the power cable, the data cable that came with your phone.
Right, nothing special, but I want it to be a Wi-Fi hotspot so that maybe several devices can connect to it. So I just tap there. And it's done, it's on. I do want to point out, if you turn this on, anybody can connect to it. You don't want just anybody to connect to it because you're paying for this. So make sure to add a password. And it's just tap where it says password and you can enter your own. So this device is now a Wi-Fi hotspot. And I'll show you by using my Wi-Fi only tablet here. So this tablet will only get on the internet if it has a Wi-Fi connection. I go into settings. This is an Android tablet. What phone is being the hotspot?
My Apple iPhone.
An Apple iPhone. So that does not matter. Once you've turned a phone into a hotspot, it's a hotspot. It's a Wi-Fi hotspot. And I tap on Wi-Fi, turn it on, and then tap on it, and I get the list of possible Wi-Fi hotspots. Now, it has just jumped right on to this Geeks PW because that is our household Wi-Fi, and it's accustomed to connecting to that. But notice there's Jim's iPhone. I can just tap on that, and it wants to know the password. So I can't actually browse the internet until after I enter the password. I think you'd believe me at this point.
The
I'm not gonna
password
do
was
it.
thanks for access.
Right, it was
on that
thanks
one.
for access, but I'm not going to bother. So that's all there is to it. You turn on the hotspot feature on the phone. You connect to the hotspot on whatever device you want. Still using Apple, I want to show you on my iPad, because my iPad does have an AT&T contract. So notice in the upper, it says AT&T, 4 bars. So that's pretty good. Once again, its Wi-Fi is on because we did that other thing.
AirDrop.
We tried to do that other thing. I go into settings, cellular data, and set up personal hotspot. And it's telling me to enable personal hotspot on this account, I need to go to the website. So it's saying, even though I have an AT&T account, it is not an account that allows a hotspot to be turned on in its current condition. I happen to know the reason is it's a month to month, and I have it set to just 250 megabytes this month because we don't need it. There are other months that I do set it up for a 5 gigabytes. When I've done that, we're paying $50, and they allow you to use it as a hotspot then.
And it's come in handy. The reason we got the AT&T, the iPad, is so that we would have an AT&T contract or availability of AT&T cellular, because sometimes it's better than the Verizon. Doesn't happen very often as we travel, but it does happen.
Well, so now we have Verizon, AT&T,
T-Mobile,
and
Sprint possibility on my Project Fi phone. So this uses Sprint and T-Mobile normally, and it has the international calling and texting and that kind of stuff. So that was really handy on Project Fi on my Nexus 6.
And that's the one I want to show next.
Okay.
So that was Apple. You go to settings, cellular, and personal hotspot. All there is to it. Now we're going to use Android. So this is Jim's Nexus phone on the Google Project Fi network. And you can see in the upper there, well, it's not being very clear. Oh,
Might turn it down a little.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, it looks better.
Is that better?
Oh, yeah. Brightness on this camera is really a tough one.
Yeah. So that's telling us that we have LTE. Notice it's not saying AT&T or Verizon because it's both T-Mobile and Sprint. And so we have an internet connection coming in. Now, how do we make it into a hotspot so that we can connect to it with others? We go to settings. And under wireless and network, it's not just Wi-Fi, because that's just turning on Wi-Fi to bring Wi-Fi in. More. And tethering and portable hotspot. Tethering and portable hotspot is what that says right there. And you just turn it on. Notice there's also an option here to set up Wi-Fi hotspot. That's where you can change the name of it and set a password. This one is currently named Geek Nexus AP for access point. So I'm going to look at my Wi-Fi only.
I just saw it.
Tablet now. And back into Wi-Fi. And we now see Geeks PW. That's the household one. We see Jim's iPhone, and we see Geek Nexus. So we have our choice of what to connect to. Once again, it needs the password before it connects. And that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
And last is so what do we have here? We have 2 Android phones and an iPhone and an iPad, all with cellular network. So that's what we're showing here, how to hotspot any of them. My Android phone has an unlimited Verizon contract. So how does this work?
Good question. How
You
does this
turn
work?
on, and we're going to see a couple of issues, and that I know a lot of you RVers out there are very aware of, and how we get around them. So settings and more networks.
The brightness has changed again. Yeah, that looks a lot better.
All right. So settings and more networks and mobile hotspot. And turn it on. And this says, use of this service requires a subscription to Mobile Hotspot or Mobile Broadband Connect. I need to go to Verizon's customer service and pay them more money. And I'm sorry, but we're paying them enough money. So I cannot turn this into a hotspot using the direct services of Verizon. But I can use a third-party app called Foxfi.
And there are other third-party apps besides Foxfi. This is one that we found quite a while ago that worked really well. Some of these programs or apps that turn your phone into a Wi-Fi hotspot required jailbreaking or rooting the operating system, because it needs special permissions in the operating system for it to work. PDAnet, which bought Foxfi, kind of got around that somehow. Now, this only works on a few phones these days. It used to work on more phones, and only on a few providers. It works well on our Samsung phones, on Verizon.
But that is about it. If you don't have a Samsung phone or you're not on Verizon, this probably won't work for you. But it does on mine. So Foxfi and activate Wi-Fi hotspot. But then it has a second step. I mean, it says Foxfi is requesting permission to set up a VPN connection, virtual private network. Only allow this if you trust the source. I do. We've been using it for years. I tap OK. Another message. Almost there. An extra step is needed on this phone. Please select Go to Settings and turn on Mobile Hotspot. Go to Settings, and now we're right back where we tried to be before. So I still have to turn on Mobile Hotspot, but because I started with Foxfi, it's going to work this time. Of course. Now, for some reason, it's not. And let me just try it one more time. And then I'm sure it has something to do with the other stuff we were doing in this show. Yep.
Or it could be just how long you've taken while you were discussing it. It has to be done within a certain amount of time. So go back to Foxfi. Okay. Now try it again and go right away instead of talking about it. Go to Settings. And this time it should work. Told you.
Okay. So I'm going to go into I'm going to close all of everything that's running in the background.
Yeah, it looked like you had it up there a couple of times too.
Let's disconnect that, start over. And rebooting, I'm sure, would do it. And what is that one? in there. All right. We'll try it one more time.
We're gluttons for punishment.
Yeah, really. We do use this all over the country. When we are not at home with this great Wi-Fi that we have here, this is how we are even producing the show, is by using Foxfi on our Verizon accounts. Okay, I'm going to have to reboot. And I'll just go ahead and show that, and we'll come back to this. So I'm going to reboot. It says I'm calling you.
Why is Chris calling me?
I have no idea. Hopefully you don't have as many phones and devices running as we do.
If you do, you're in trouble.
Yeah. All right. Shall we talk about this little device?
Yeah, as long as we're
and then
here.
Come back.
Sure. Let's whoops, wrong one. There we go. Okay. We have it here. There, our app of the week is the SanDisk Connect Drive. And it is a cool little device. It's something that we've been trying to research. People are asking us how they can get pictures off of their iPhones or their Android phones and backed up, or even their computers, and without an internet connection. So we ran into this problem when we were in the Bahamas and we wanted to take a lot of pictures with multiple devices, but we wanted to save all of those pictures in case we lost a phone or it broke or what have you. So this is throw it overboard, flush it down the toilet. So this is one device that will do that. We showed our Hutu a couple of weeks ago. That was the device that we took to the Bahamas. We found this afterwards, and it is a USB stick. It is a 32 gigabyte thumb drive, but it also has built into it a Wi-Fi hotspot. So you can turn on the Wi-Fi hotspot, and as long as it has a charge, you don't have to plug it into a computer or into any other device. You should be able to see this as a hotspot. So there's a little button on it, and you can see a little light blinking there. You might be able to see it. So the light's blinking there. That means that this is running as a hotspot, that you can download an app. So that's the app of the week, is the SanDisk Connect app that you can use to access this device. Okay. So it works wirelessly via Wi-Fi. You don't need anything special. I had got the 32 gigabyte one. They have up to 128 gigabytes for these devices. It's accessible up to 150 feet, they say. It's usually done a little bit closer. And you can set up Wi-Fi password protection for it if you want, which is probably a good idea. You can also stream videos to up to 3 devices from this. So this is from this little thing here. And you can share up to 8 devices for pictures. But because video takes so much bandwidth, that you can only do 3. So the SanDisk Connect Drive is a really cool device. So let's look at some of it's a wireless flash, and you get the app for both Android or Apple, and you can stream your media directly from the drive. You can upload photos, videos, and other files, and you can download files from the drive to the mobile device for local access, so you can have it there and turn it off. They have a slideshow mode. It's really pretty cool. You can preview your documents. So it's not just pictures, it's all kinds of documents that you can put on here. Any kind of file that you have on your computer, documents and spreadsheets and slideshows, but mostly for pictures. And it is really a cool little device. And so far.
And an extra cool thing is that the app, there's an Android version of the app and an Apple version of the app.
Yep.
So this is a way, especially if you're traveling and you have no Wi-Fi and you want to back up some stuff from your phone or your tablet, you can do it to this little device.
Right. And it even has a web-based browser connection to it. So if you're on a laptop and you don't have internet, you can connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot that this creates and just go to a website. It's just an address. It's SanDisk Connect / my SanDisk. I'm sorry, not
SanDisk.
SanDisk. Right. Connect. Cool stuff. Highly recommended if you have a need for that kind of offline connectivity. You got it right there.
And I'm still having issues even after rebooting, so we're going to have to figure that one out. But as I say, we do use Foxfi all across the country. And if you want to know if your device works with it, foxfi.com.
I think I had mine turned on, didn't I?
Your Foxfi?
Yeah.
Well, but you don't need it. Yours works. That phone works without using Foxfi.
Right, but I use my Samsung. I turn my Samsung phone into a hotspot.
All right.
But
I think we can go on to review questions.
Okay, I like that too.
And if we have any questions.
I don't see anything here. Geek is in your name. Let's see. Stopped using Foxfi when there was a cost. Bill Osborne says that there was a cost.
The cost is just $10 one time.
Yeah, there was
we paid $10 3 years ago, and we've been using it to use many, many, many gigabytes of data ever since.
Many. But we have an unlimited data plan.
We do have an unlimited data plan.
Okay.
With Verizon, that's the only one. You cannot hotspot an unlimited AT&T plan, and you cannot hotspot any unlimited plan on an iPhone. So this is really pretty narrow use.
Okay. Well, I still like it.
Oh, we love it. We would not have been able to do this show as we travel around the country if it had not been for Foxfi.
Okay, Paul says, I'm watching using Foxfi Connect here in SoCal. It's
Yay.
my only internet access. Okay. Well, cool. Hit it. When you connect your smartphone to a Wi-Fi hotspot, we call that Wi-Fi in. Wi-Fi out is what we call it when you turn your cellular connection into what?
A Wi-Fi hotspot, making your phone into a Wi-Fi. Sometimes we even shorten that and call it hotspotting.
Okay.
Can you hotspot your phone?
You're tethering your other devices using your hotspotted cellular data.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oops.
Okay. To turn your smartphone into a Wi-Fi hotspot, you need an active cellular connection and a contract that allows what?
Tethering. They usually call it tethering. Sometimes they call it mobile hotspot, but your contract with your cellular company will tell you whether that's allowed.
Okay, true or false? A Wi-Fi hotspot provided by an iPhone can be used by an Android tablet. True or false?
Absolutely true. Doesn't matter.
Nope. And true or false, there is a way to transfer photos between similar devices with no internet connection.
Now that's referring to both our tip at the beginning and our little device at the end. So the answer is yes. Where there's a way, there's a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way.
All right, Chris, what is the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows?
GeeksOnTour.com, and the menu item is Weekly Show.
And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
GeeksOnTour.com, and the menu item is Blogs and Articles. Newsletters is under there.
And what benefits do you get by joining Geeks on Tour?
Number 1, access to all of our tutorial videos. Number 2, asking questions in our Ask the Geeks forum.
And we promise to respond.
We do. It sometimes takes us a little while. Sometimes we're instant on it. I'm happy when we do that.
When we're happy.
And the show notes for these shows.
The show notes
are all available to members.
Really handy. So we do invite you to become a member. GeeksOnTour.com.
It's $68 for 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And next week's topic should be creating movies with Google Photos. That's one of the coolest things that you can do on a mobile device.
I want to have some fun next time. That's really fun, is making those little movies.
January 3rd. It'll be after the New Year's. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas or whatever you're celebrating, and we'll take your questions. Watch for notification for next week's show. I should put it up probably Wednesday or Thursday. And please click to let us know that you're coming. That's fun. And leave any questions there in the comments on the Google Plus page, and we'll try and answer them live during the show.
Bill McKibben said that his comments were disabled. So
comments are disabled on the
YouTube
channel.
But he usually watches from Google Plus. So
obviously somewhere there are comments. We have a few. That's where we're getting them. So, all right. Anything else? Geeks on Tour. That's it for this show.
See you next week on What Does This Button Do? How about this one? Let's try another one. That's what I did today. I just kept
Don't do
just
that.
keep pushing buttons.
Okay. Bye.